Okay, now we're going to look at working together 5.2. In 5.1 we went through and looked at how we keep track of our inventory, and that's an actual physical count. How many widgets, how many gadgets do we have? What we're looking at here is assigning a dollar amount to that, so that when we figure out what our ending inventory is, then what is that worth dollar-wise, because that is what's going into calculating our cost of goods sold, which affects our gross profit, which affects our net income. All right, so so what we're doing is we're costing that ending inventory. Okay, and there's three ways: FIFO, LIFO, and weighted average. Okay. Basically, a business can choose how they want to cost their inventory. So a business will choose. As long as they're consistent, then everything's good. They can't really one year say, I want to do FIFO, and the next year go, oh, now we're going to do LIFO, and the next year go, okay, let's try weighted average, because then your numbers are different, and they're not very comparable, which is one of our accounting concepts, is to be able to compare our data from year to year and know that things are consistent reporting. Okay? All right, so we're going to start with FIFO. FIFO is first in, first out. Okay? So if we want to write that down, first in, first out. Okay? LIFO, last in, first out. Okay, now these are assumptions. This may or may not happen. If you think about a company and they put their product on the shelf, do they put the new product that they just received in front and push the old product to the back, which would be last in, first out, right? Think about that for a second. New product comes in, you push the old product to the back, put the new product in front. So the last product that came in is sitting in front, so it's going to be the first product that people buy and move out. Okay? First in, first out would mean that we pull the old product to the front and put the new product behind it, in the hopes that that first in, the product that we bought earlier, is going to be the first that's sold. It's going to be in front. Okay? Again, it may or may not happen that way in reality, but costing, we're talking about dollars and cents, and so we're looking at it from that perspective. Okay, sometimes when I'm shopping, I grab from the back because I'm assuming that those grocery stores or whatever are going to put the freshest product in the back, because they want the product that's been sitting there a little bit longer to move off the shelf. All right, so it gives us information. 5.2 working together. Jensen Auto had the following beginning inventory and purchases for air filters. At the end of the year, 34 units remain. Okay, and we're going to find all three of the different methods, okay, for the same numbers. So basically what we need to do is fill out this information first. Okay, so this is 1. Do this first. And it says our beginning inventory, we had 8, and those were $9.96 a piece. And I guess I should have clarified this before, because when you buy product from your suppliers, your vendors, they may charge you a different price every time. And so that's why we're concerned about this, is because if we buy something in January, okay, or we have something in January, we bought something in January or December the year before, it was $9.96. Then in February we go to order some more, well, they've changed the price on us. Okay? It's not going to be the same price every time. Okay, our vendors are going to change the price all the time. All right, so just multiplying units purchased times unit price, and that will equal our total cost. Okay, and then these numbers are coming from the book. Looks like we buy 20 at a time. So in February we bought 20. These were $10.24 a piece. In May we bought 20. These were $10.36 a piece. August 20 for $10.46. And November 20, and these were $10.54. Okay, and then doing all of the math, just multiplying those. 204.80, 207.20, 209.20, and 210.80. Okay, adding all this up, we had 88 either in inventory and then purchased, and that totals up to $911.68. Okay, so there's a total of the cost of all the merchandise that came in. Okay, so now we need to know the units on hand and how much that is costing us. So first in, first out. Okay, these were first in, so these are the ones that are going to be first out. So these are gone. Okay, that's kind of you have to think about it. Okay, these are first out. First in, first out. So we're going to work backwards for these numbers. Okay, it tells us that our ending inventory is 34. All right, so if we're working backwards, 20 of that 34 is going to be costed at $10.54 a piece. Okay, so we're going to use all 20 of these items. Okay, so that we know that's going to be $210.80, the same amount. All right, so now 34 minus 20 leaves 14. Well, 14 fits within this number. Okay, so I'm going to be able to put that number down and stop. Okay, so now I have my 34, and then $10.46 times 14 is $146.44. Okay, so this is the amount that's left. Okay, first in, first out, and this is what's left. Okay, and this was the second thing. If this was the first thing you did, then this is the second thing you did. Okay, and so this is 1046 times 14 and 1054 times 20, just so you know where you got those numbers. All right, and then we can total that up. Oops. 357.24. Okay, so at the end of the year, okay, so let's say we're at the end of the year, what is the cost of our ending inventory? Right there, 357.24. Okay, so that's first in, first out. Now, last in, first out, LIFO. Okay, same initial setup. Still do this first. This is all the same. Too bad they didn't write all this in for us, but we're going to have to copy it down real quick. 996, 1024, 1036, 1046, 1054. This is still 88. Total costs are still the same. Okay, again, there's the first thing that you do. The second thing that you do is figure out the units on hand for each section. So last in, first out. So these are your last ones in. They're your first ones out. So these are gone. Okay, so that means we've got to work this way. All right, so again, our total needs to be 34. So now we've got to work towards 34. So here's 8. So 30, we can only use 8 right there. That's as much as we have for the beginning inventory. 34 minus 8 is what, 26? Okay, but we don't have 26. We only can go with 20. Okay, because that's our max amount that we have for the month of February at that cost, at that price. Okay, and so now we have 28. 34 minus 28 is 6. Okay, 6 fits into that number, so we're good. Okay, so these three numbers should add up to 34, and again, we're working down the page. Then we've got to do the calculations across. So 8 times our unit price, $9.96, 79, 68. Okay, so this is $9.96 times 8. And then $10.24 times the 20 is $204.80. So 10.24 times 20. And then 1036 times 6, 62.16. 1036 times 6. Okay. All right, and then we'll total those up. 346.64. Okay, so you can see there's a little bit of difference on how you cost that. Okay, now at this point I want to show you something because what I want you to notice here is that we have basically increasing prices. Okay, and so when we have increasing prices, which of these two gives you a lower ending inventory? This one does, okay, during increasing prices. Okay, this can make a difference. It makes a difference in everything that we've done, because once we find this number, it affects our gross profit, it affects our net income. Our net income affects how much tax we pay. Okay, and so we want to find the best solution for our company. And like I said, we don't want to bounce back and forth, because then that kind of raises some red flags. And I will tell you that the International Accounting Standards, the International Finance Reporting Standards, does not allow LIFO because of this. Okay, so pages 154 and 155 actually show you some graphics on this. Okay, so during increasing prices, okay, FIFO gives you the highest ending inventory, which will give you the lowest cost of merchandise sold, which will give you the highest net income. Okay, during increase in prices, which really and truly, most of the time prices are always increasing, right? Gives us the lowest ending inventory, the highest cost of goods sold, and the lowest net income. Okay, and now think about, how does net income affect? Well, if we fudge that number a little bit by using a different method, then you're not paying as much tax, right? Because if your net income is a little bit lower, then your tax is a little bit lower. Okay, so different ways, different reasons, and this kind of graphic right here kind of shows you that criticism of it. So basically, the cheapest product that we buy is bought early on. And so if we let that sit there at that low price for years and years and years and years, okay, we know that product hasn't sat on the shelf for 5 years. It's gone. We've sold it. Okay, so we really shouldn't be costing it and including that cost this far down the road. Okay, so it just kind of builds on itself. So that's why your international accounting standards don't really like it and don't accept it, even though GAAP, okay, which is our generally acceptable accounting practices, does allow either method. Okay. Actually, okay, I'll come back to that thought. Okay. Now, there is a third way, and it's called weighted average. And basically, we're just taking the average of all of the prices of all of our product to come up with a general cost of our merchandise. So again, this is all the same. 8, 20, 20, 20, 20. All the unit prices are the same. Okay, because we're comparing all the same values for this exercise. Okay, we're still got 88. Our total costs are still the same. Okay, and that total is still the same, 911, 68. So this group has been exactly the same for all three methods. Okay, now what we need to do is basically take the total of all of our inventory and divide it by the number of items that we have to find a weighted average per unit. Okay, so let's see, the total of beginning inventory plus purchases is 911.68 divided by the units, the total units, which is 88, equals